Alright. I guess we just have to get on with the nut tier list now. That was so random, yeah. Right, I'm not going to waste time. We're going to get into it. I'm going to play. I've reorganized it a little bit, just so it's not the exact same as yesterday. But almonds. Almonds to me, like, I don't think you just eat almonds. Like, you can. They're in, like, nut mix bags. But who just eats almonds? Like, these are definitely a cooking nut. And for that, like, they can't be bottom. But on their own, they're too soft. They look like they should be a bit harder. But they kind of got a softness to them. And they're gross. B. Like, okay, what almond snacks are there? Like, because most of the good chocolate's hazelnut. What? Almonds. You got almond joys. I think they're C for now. Oh, Bakewell tarts. That's a okay. Yeah, I think single-handedly for Bakewell tarts they go up to B. Yeah. I mean, but marzipan might knock it down. I hate marzipan, but single-handedly for Bakewell tarts topped with almonds. Yeah. Brazil nuts. These are like such a forgettable nut. These are like always at the bottom of like the mixed nut bags. But I love Brazil. And I'm pretty sure these nuts invented Brazil or something. They named Brazil, they discovered Brazil, something like that. So no, actually, I can't get over how lame they are. They're just so boring. Yeah, they're D-tier nuts. Alright, nuts. What do I think about nuts? I think the only thing nuts invoke for me are memories of my dad telling me to, like, unscrew a nut. And I was using my soft little baby hands with a wrench, and I just couldn't do it. And my dad shouting at me, get the nut out. And I'm like, I don't know how. I've got soft baby man hands. These are D. I don't like them. What do they even do? These fasten things, right? These are fasteners. I'm not rating anyone's nuts. That's gross. Cashews. These aren't nuts. Anyone who's watched Tobuscus knows these aren't nuts. And they're gross. They are some of the worst tasting nuts out there. They're not nuts, but they're basically nuts. They're not in any chocolate. There's no chocolate cashew legendary. There's no good chocolate with cashews in it. What? They're in some Chinese food, some British Chinese food. You get cashews in. They're all right. But I told this story yesterday. I've spent a lot of time in the gym since my early teenage years. I've been in the gym regularly, and the single biggest person, the single strongest person I've ever met was a Polish man, Polish Tom, and I never saw that man drink a single protein shake. No protein shakes, no protein bars, no protein porridge, no protein flapjacks. This man would only eat sunflower seeds and cashews. He would just sit there for like an hour in the reception, just chewing and crunch. And he was humongous. I've never seen someone lift so much weight. He'd like absolutely like deck out the bench press bar and like it was nothing, man. The cashews, he'd only eat cashews and sunflower seeds. Cashews have to, I think for that alone, like with the superhuman strength you can get from cashews, they're high on the list for that alone. Nut. This is the Egyptian deity Nut. This is the goddess of the stars and celestial bodies in the sky. Often represented by a naked woman arching over in the sky like this. I don't know much about Egyptian deities. And this one's not in Smite. So for that alone, like, how good of an Egyptian deity can you be if you're not in Smite? This one's also probably not even pronounced nut, but it's spelt nut. Chestnuts. Can you even eat chestnuts? I don't know if you can even eat chestnuts, but you can roast them. And they have had, at the very least, a cultural impact because they're in a song. If you bake them, yes, but who's doing that? You don't actually roast them, you just sing the song. But they have had at least some cultural significance. Wait, hold on. Actually, I've just noticed something. Am I stupid? Are these conkers? Is this what conkers are? Because I've just noticed like the green outer bit. Are conkers just chestnuts? I need someone to check this. Someone Google this. Are conkers just chestnut? Because that changes things. Oh, do you know what? I never knew that. I'm so stupid. I never knew that conkers were just chestnuts. Some of the best childhood memories is my dad taking me to the park and collecting all the conkers we could find and drilling holes in them so we could play conkers. And we spent about 6 hours collecting and preparing just to play for 5 minutes and me getting hurt and crying. I didn't know there were conkers. That's C tier. That's B tier at least. Also, supposedly, if you keep loads of conkers in a room, it scares away spiders. And I am petrified of spiders. But that doesn't sound right to me. Yeah, I didn't know they were conkers. That's rad. Alright. This guy's Roadnut. This is Roadnut. Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's like Max C, but like infinitely worse. But probably a lot older. Yeah, he's got a cool little hat. He's eating a nut. C tier. C tier for Roadnut. The Deku Nut. Now, I've never actually played a Legend of Zelda game. I've not played a single Legend of Zelda game in my life, but what I have played is Smash Bros. And in Smash Bros, this is an item that you can throw and it briefly stuns someone. I'm seeing a lot of A's, but who the fuck plays Smash with items on? D tier, easily. Coconuts. Coconuts, again, not a nut, not a traditional nut, but to me it's a nut. And I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but I think I might have more authority on this. Coconuts to me are a nut. And I need to know if there's anyone else out here that does this. I need to know if I'm alone on this one. Does anyone else at Christmas time, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, does anyone else metagame the celebrations box where even though you like the bounties, because coconut's delicious, I don't care what anyone says, coconut's delicious. Does anyone else, even though they like bounties, leave them dead last? Because you know they'll be there at the end. You know the bounties are going to be there, and even though they're delicious, you eat the other bits so you can fall back on the bounties. What else can you do with coconut? A lot of Indian cuisine is kind of based on coconut. And I fucking love me a curry. I think coconuts are going to... Oh, but can they be A if they're not actually even a nut? You can throw coconuts at homeless people too, so probably an S. I think in my heart of heart it's an A. Now, okay, I need to know, before I even talk about this, does anyone recognize this nut specifically? This is one of the most legendary nuts in all of media. Yes, people recognize it. This is Scrat's nut. This is the nut from Ice Age. I'm not going to be coy on this one. This one's an easy S tier. One of the most legendary childhood memories of mine, of many people's, is watching Ice Age. And Scrat absolutely stole... Yeah, everyone says S. Scrat stole the show. Without a doubt, Scrat absolutely stole the show. And I just wanted to watch his little nutty adventures. Also, for people that don't know, the studio that made Ice Age, I think they're called Blue Sky, they had to shut down kind of recently. And they actually worked on a secret ending to Ice Age, behind the scenes, like after hours at the studio, where Scrat finally buried his nut. No, I think he ate his nut. He ate his nut, and that was the end of Ice Age, which I love. I love. Hazelnuts. Hazelnut, like, I'm just not a nut eater. I don't like any nuts raw. I don't raw dog nuts. But hazelnuts, purely for their contribution to the chocolate game, they're going to be high up. Hazelnut chocolate is unbelievably good. But not all of it's good. This is a B tier. I'm happy putting this in B tier. The D's nut guy. I don't know what to say about this, honestly. This might be a hot take. I was always a 21 kind of guy more than the D's nuts. I just don't... I've never found it that funny. Also, it's hard for people to take you seriously. When your craft is making nut jokes, everyone just wants decent. I think for that alone, he's a funny guy. I'm going to have to put him C tier. C tier for these nuts. Do you reckon the Twitch chat's covering up too much of the screen? It's kind of too late to change now. I'm almost halfway through already. These nuts is a legend. He is. That's why he's not D tier though. Cultural impact alone is D tier. But this is my definitive tier list, and I just can't put him there. To me, the 21 guy will always triumph. Macadamia nuts. These might actually be the only nuts here. These and pine nuts that I don't think I've ever eaten a macadamia nut. What are macadamia nuts actually in? Yeah, their contribution to Plants vs Zombies has to be noted. They're A tier? Macadamia nuts. Macadamia. What is macadamia in? I feel like something's on the tip of my tongue. They are A tier. They're definitely A tier. I don't know what tier it is though. They're definitely A tier. I can't put them in D tier just because I don't like them, because I don't know what they're like. These are going to have to awkwardly go into C tier. But I can't think of a single thing they're in. They're so underrated. Almond milk. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the prospect of milking a nut is troubling to me. How do you milk a nut? D. Drinking nut is like the taste of milk, but the texture of water. It is gross, but it's kind of good for you. You can't deny it. Almond milk's good for you, but it does taste rotten. It's the texture for me. I think it tastes fine, but the texture is really gross. I don't want to know how you milk a nut. Peanuts. Peanuts are definitely a man's nut. I've eaten many a peanut, but what I've never done, what you don't get to do, it's not really much of a thing in the UK from my knowledge. We don't really crack open the nuts. You kind of just buy them pre-cracked. A tier, yeah. Yeah, I can't deny these are probably an A tier nut. Cracking them open looks fun. The male prostate. The male prostate's an interesting one. The male prostate is definitely responsible for a lot of nuts. This thing, one of the top contributor of all nuts, like just non-stop producing nuts across the nation. But this thing does just swell up and kill you. Like you're just living life and all of a sudden, oops, my prostate's big, can't pee normally for the rest of my life. Man, where do I put the prostate? Like it makes so much nut, but God, that shit just does kill you. Yeah. I mean, we're all gonna have a swollen prostate at some point in our life, so. But do you know what? Prostate nuts are good though. I've never had one. This is just alibis from friends, but I've heard prostate nuts are pretty good. Pine nuts. This probably is the other nut that I've not tried. What are pine nuts in? Where was the femboy? Yeah, if only the femboy could have been here for the prostate nuts. He'd know. He definitely knows. Pine nuts, just for cultural irrelevance alone, pine nuts are going in D. Pistachios. These are the shit, dude. I fucking love pistachios. Even when they're unsalted, these things are just so Moorish. These are definitely the most Moorish of all peanuts. But they're like, you got a little mini game, like cracking them open, like sticking your nails in to crack them open. Sometimes you get the tight ones, and then you try and bite them and you hurt your tooth and don't even get it out. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, these are definitely S tier. I mentioned this yesterday as well. Pistachio ice cream is really rare in the UK. I've only ever seen pistachio ice cream in one place, but Oh, God, it tastes good. It tastes like pure white chocolate. I don't know if pistachio... It was quite cheap. I don't know if pistachio ice cream was supposed to taste like that. But it was delicious. Now, walnuts and pecans I want to rate together. Because I think these are kind of similar. These are good tasting nuts. But these have, like, the absolute worst texture among all nuts, in my opinion. I bite into it expecting like a crunch or a chew or something, but they're like weirdly soft. They're weirdly soft, but my God, do these motherfuckers taste good on desserts. God, just almond cake. Oh my God, that's not walnuts or pecans, but still, you know what I mean. Pecan pie. Just, oh yeah, these are both A-tier nuts. Well, look, there's no point going on too long about this one. I owe this stream. This stream would not be possible without this guy right here. Yeah, this guy's getting me places. This guy's getting me places. I love the walnut, an absolute icon. Gosh, love the walnut. Now I don't remember how to pronounce this nut here. This is a something nut from Genshin Impact. And the nut from Genshin Impact, I don't know what it does. I don't know who this material's for. But Genshin Impact is probably responsible for more nuts than even the male prostate. F. Oh my God, you do not like the Genshin Impact nut. Okay. I guess it's going to have to be a D-tier nut against my better judgment. The crack nut. Not the crack nut actually. This is the meth nut. This is a reference here to how many drug gangs, drug organizations, drug affiliates will smuggle methamphetamines inside of peanut casings. Now, in my opinion, if you're going through the effort to individually crack peanuts in half and seal them up with meth inside, you probably deserve to get paid, you know. You probably deserve to get these through the border. And I was gonna put meth's quite bad though. A lot of people had their lives ruined by meths. Oh hell yeah, donation. Compensating for the inevitable demonetization of a video featuring this much nut. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Meth is bad. Meth has caused so much sorrow and hatred in this world. But I just finished Breaking Bad, and that is a very interesting show. CBT. I don't know what cognitive behavioral therapy has to do with this. I'm not sure what CBT has it here relevant to nuts. But just in case I'm missing something, that's C tier. Here's another one we're going to have to rate together. KP dry roasted and KP salted peanuts. This is a dad's food. This is a real dad's food. Christmas time, you've had your dinner, dad's half wasted on the sofa. Bring out the KP salted nuts. Now they're not S tier because they've not sponsored me yet, and I want my first sponsorship to be nut related. I'm holding out until I get some sort of nut sponsorship. KP roasted, the roasted ones are better. Dry roasted ones are much better than the salted ones. I'm not here to take opinions on that. I'm correct, but I'm actually going to mark down these blue ones for something other than their taste, because taste is subjective. But do you remember when KP salted nuts, they used to come on like in pubs, they'd be on like a cardboard backing, where the more nuts people would buy, the more you took off, it would reveal more and more of a bikini model or some scantily dressed woman. And I don't think that kind of misogyny has a place in a pub, if you ask me. I actually don't like that. Chili, Sensations, Walker Sensations, chili nuts. I butchered that in every way possible. I don't know how many people here have eaten Sensations chili nuts, but this is just the absolute best way to enjoy nuts. They're crunchy, Oh god, they're just go if you could have access to Sensations chili coated nuts, go and eat these motherfuckers. They're so good, so good. Man, M&M's peanuts, the yellow M&M's. I was always kind of a Smarties guy. I always preferred Smarties to M&M's. But they are, god, they're better than like most of the just nuts. These are really good nuts. Yeah, these are gotta be A tier, you know. Well, okay. For the people saying, I'm guessing the people saying that these are ass. I'm talking exclusively the English chocolate version. English chocolate is very different to American chocolate. And English chocolate is delicious. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. This is actually the only Banjo-Kazooie game I've ever played. This is the only Banjo-Kazooie. I think chances are, if you were 10 to 12 when the Xbox 360 came out, this was the game you got with it. And you know what? I think everyone that hated this game was just upset it wasn't another Banjo-Kazooie game. Because I think without the legacy of Banjo-Kazooie, this was just a fun game. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, that's just a fun game. I alluded earlier that hazelnuts are rated highly because of chocolate. Their contribution to the chocolate industry. Kinder Bueno is the absolute... I think this is the pinnacle of chocolate. Can anyone raise a chocolate better than a Kinder Bueno? Maybe, absolutely maybe at a push, on a good day, on a perfect day, a Cadbury's Flake might be on par. Maybe. But, oh god, they're just so good. So good. Nutella. I believe this is another hazelnut chocolate. I don't like Nutella. I think Nutella is kind of gross. It's way too much. It needs to be more chocolate than it is hazelnut. This is the most hazelnutty product you can get on the market, and it's maybe my hot take. This is also a bit of unnecessary detail. My stepdad almost died to Nutella. He has an extreme nut allergy, and he was almost wiped out by Nutella. But like more than just tasting bad. This is gonna have to be a D tier. It's just so outclassed by peanut butter. What situation are you in where you could have Nutella? You wouldn't just have a nice peanut butter. No, actually, I'm just putting peanut butter in it because not only is peanut butter delicious, it's so much healthier. So much healthier than Nutella. No, I just can't imagine. If you're the kind of person to pick Nutella over peanut butter, you've got problems. Finally, the final member of the nut tier list, testicular torsion. Now, I already knew what testicular torsion was. I already know what it is. I've had friends that have experienced it. But even knowing what it is, even know how it happens, Googling, I had to Google to get this image. Alright, and just Googling testicular torsion and going on images, holy shit, that is some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't need that. I don't need to see it. I just wanted a little diagram like this. I did not need to see that many like surgery tables with like testicles hanging out the nutsacks. Guys, ghoulish. Guys, do not go and Google testicular torsion. That said, as far as the ranking goes, I can't think of something better to wish upon my enemies than testicular torsion. And I think to add to this, if I ever had some sort of force powers, if I had some sort of Star Wars force power, I wouldn't bother fucking throwing lightsabers around, pushing people around. I'd give them testicular torsion. I'd give them a little twist down there. Most intelligent conversation. Yeah. Yeah, that's the definitive nut tier list. Before I end this low effort YouTube placeholder while I finish making Frostbite Caves, is there any glaring weaknesses here? I think I might have done the prostate day. I think the prostate needs to go up. And probably coconut comes down. Nutella's good. You're wrong. You're wrong.